And it looks like we're live. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to 2024. It's crazy. I hope you're all doing awesome. I hope everyone had a great New Year's, if that's your thing. But a new year, we're here. What's going on? What's everybody up to this fine Wednesday morning? And let's see, looks like you guys beat me here. Right on. Harry Dude's here. Sam's here. Why can't I? Sam's got an ad. Harry Dude says, what's up? Says to Sam, time to look at ad blockers. Sam, YouTube ad blocks them. Yeah, there's a thing of some sort. Harry Dude says, mine works. Haven't seen an ad for months. Right on. What's going on? What is going on? What's happening? What's everybody do for New Year's? You guys visit with friends or family or just go to bed? I hung out with some friends of mine for the New Year's Eve, and it was just kind of fun. Saw some friends that I haven't seen in quite a while, and just had a good time hanging out. It wasn't like some big wild party like, you know, back in the day. But it was awesome, actually. Good to catch up with some musician buddies of mine and just hang out. Hard to believe that New Year's here. It's crazy. I'm excited for this year. We'll get to that here shortly. Harry Dude says, I use a PC to watch YouTube. Haven't found an ad blocker that works on a tablet. I'm not familiar with one myself. Jack's here. Jack says, hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Jack. What's going on? And welcome. Sam says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Sam. Sam says, I'm eating Pringles with dip sauce. Ooh, that sounds good. Man, chips are something that I really like eating chips. I try not to do it very often, so I don't buy them that much because I could eat like a whole bag. And Pringles, I could eat the whole can. It really doesn't matter what the flavor is either. That's the funny thing. Robert's here. Robert says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Robert. And a cheers to all of you. Harry Dude says, hey, Jeff, sorry I missed the last week's live show. Lost track of days on my time off. Harry Dude, it's all good, man. I'm glad you enjoyed your time off. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you lost track, because to me, that says you were enjoying it. So no worries. It's all good. We missed you, though. Move this thing just a little bit. Sorry about that. Hopefully I don't knock the microphone cable loose. All right, better. I felt like I was sitting on the edge of the chair to kind of be in the frame. All right. Well, as we kick off the new year, what do you guys do resolutions and all that sort of thing? New Year's resolutions? If you do, what sort of resolutions have you set? Like workshop project resolutions or just kind of life in general resolutions? I'll go first. Me, I'm not really a resolution kind of person, but I do like to have maybe some plans or maybe goals for the year. And yeah, I've kind of been pondering that. I know some people, you know, start in like, I don't know, November, trying to plan things out. But yeah, I've just kind of been looking forward to this year, or been thinking forward into the year, trying to figure out, you know, some cool stuff that I want to try this year. And, you know, I'm still in that phase right now where I'm pondering. I got quite a few projects planned right now. The main one being the acoustic, and several other projects, guitar related, as well as regular kind of, you know, woodworking type projects. But I'm in that phase at the moment, working on those sorts of plans. But do you guys do that? Do you plan ahead of time, or do you wait till the new year, which is kind of what I do? Sam says, autocorrect screwed up my sentences. That's all good. No worries, Sam. I understand. Autocorrect. It's weird. So I was messaging a buddy of mine last night, speaking of autocorrect. This is totally unrelated, but it is related to autocorrect. And I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I said, I don't know something or other. And I mistyped don't and I hit S. So S-O-N-T, sont, right? And it sent it. So it said, I sont something. and then I realized it, and I'm like, so then I actually typed sont with a question mark back to him. This is a text message. And it changed it to don't. So it actually sent sont, and then when I typed sont, again, it changed it to don't. Oh boy. Darn autocorrect. Mike says, usually hits me with an inspiration, no plan, but a long-term desire. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a, yeah, I know what you're saying, and that's kind of what my thoughts are as well, but you said it a little bit neater than I. It gives me inspiration, like you said, and you know, I kind of looking forward to all of the stuff for the year. Yeah, I like that. Inspiration. That's it. And Paul's here. Paul says, greetings all. I feel like I haven't seen you guys since last year. But yes. I said that to somebody the other day. I'll see you next year. Oh boy. Paul, what's going on? How are things going down in your neck of the woods? Robert says, I don't do the resolution since I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing or not doing. Plans don't work out for me normally, so I gave up making them. Yeah, plans are kind of hard. Sometimes I know what you mean. Something always changes and kind of messes with those plans, it seems like. But I do like to, you know, try to look forward, forward thinking. I don't know if that's the right term or not. Just to, you know, to what can we do for the year? What do we need to do for the year? What would I like to do for the year? Kind of 3 different categories. And just try to plan for the new year. But yeah, not necessarily a resolution. Gianni's here. Gianni says, unfortunately I have to leave. Greetings to everyone from splendid Tuscany. Happy 2024. Right on, Gianni. Greetings to all of you in Tuscany. Jimmer's here. Jimmer says, what's a resolution? Yeah, exactly. I don't do resolutions, but I do like to think forward for the year. And there's Neptunes. Neptune says, hello everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Neptunes. How's it going? How was your New Year's? Paul says, cold and rainy. Riding is fun. Don't do resolutions myself. More of a free mindset, not bogged down with schedules kind of guy. Yeah. Yep. You know, like I said already, you know, I try to plan for certain projects, you know, for the year, things that I want to do, but I'm kind of, you know, kind of go with the flow kind of thing as far as for many projects, really. You know, I'll have a handful of things maybe that I want to tackle, and then there's always a project that pops up in between, and I just roll with it for the most part. You know, there's one goal that I really want to try for this year, and that's that 100,000 subscriber on the YouTube channel. You know, I don't have a whole lot of control in that. Well, actually, I really don't have really any control in that. But I really want to try to reach that. So I know that's one of my goals that I want to really try to work towards. That's kind of one of my long-term goals for the year. And then there's a bunch of short-term ones. One of them is the acoustic guitar, which I'll show you here in a second. Tony! Tony says, morning, sunshine. Morning, Tony. What's going on? Mike says, I have a friend who said his resolution was to buy less lettuce or eat more salad. Buy less lettuce is like does hamburger count as a salad if it's got lettuce on it? Sam says, I have an interesting jewelry box to send you to refurbish and perhaps give to someone in your family. I want to send UK snacks too to make it worth sending all the way to the US. Oh man, that'd be cool. Yeah, some UK snacks. I'm down. Paul says, guitar's looking great, by the way. Is it playable yet? I'll show you. It is not yet. It's been an interesting couple of days, and we'll jump into that. I'll show you. But the guitar right now, I'm going to get all dusty. I am radiusing, as you can see, it's covered in dust. My nice shiny finish. Covered in dust because I'm radiusing the fretboard. I've got most of this done, and then I'm just working this over the fretboard extension because, you know, the body's tapered a bit. So when you glue this fretboard extension down, it, you know, there's a bit of one of those things there, a little hump. So this part is almost all leveled, and then I'm going to work this separate, kind of give it a little bit of fall away in the fretboard so that I don't have to do quite so much with the frets when it comes to that stage. I haven't made, excuse me, haven't made a ton of progress on any one project over the last few days. You know, with schools have been on, you know, Christmas break, and of course Christmas and New Year's. You know, haven't had as much shop time this last week, but I did get to working on this. I got the neck glued on, I got the bridge glued on, radiusing the fretboard, and that was my plan, was for the rest of this week to get this thing fretted and really get it strung up. But remember those knives I've been working on? Don't tell anyone, but you guys know. Our farrier showed up yesterday and brought the forge along. So now these are heat treated, and as soon as we're done here, I'm going to put these in the oven to begin their tempering cycles. So I think I'm going to press pause a little bit and work on these. The video's almost done, so there's not a ton left that I have to do. I think I'm going to finish these up over the next day or so, and I think that'll be the video for this weekend. I'm going to really try hard this year to try to not miss a week, and once in a while I'm sure it'll happen, but yeah, now that these are hardened, I think I'm gonna try to finish this up. Look at all that black gunk on there. That's not spray paint. These were quenched in used motor oil, and it just turned them all black and crispy looking, and it like peels off. It looks like paint. But I think I'm gonna focus on these. While they're in the oven though, I'm going to finish radiusing the fretboard for the acoustic, and yeah, so I'm kind of excited. So, and then there's another project that I've been kind of working on behind the scenes that I was going to knock out for this weekend, but now I'm just going to push that one on the back burner. So I got like a whole bunch of stuff rolling already, which is kind of cool because I feel like it gives me a good start to the year with projects. My main focus is going to be getting this acoustic guitar done because that was my goal. I wanted to have it done by the end of 2023, but with the issues with the finishing, that delayed me, so it didn't quite make it. So there's probably, I don't know, 2 days worth of work, maybe 3. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'm excited. So the acoustic's coming along well. I got to finish these knives now. Other projects I've been planning. Yeah. I'm like pumped up. Sam says, it's no ordinary jewelry box. Ooh, the intrigue sets in. Neptune says, it was good, right on. Glad you had a good New Year's. Jimmer says, everybody make double accounts for Jeff. No, don't do that. Don't do anything sneakily. Sometimes they go through and purge inactive accounts. And yeah. Robert says, the only control you have with this subscriptions is to produce good content, which you do in my opinion. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do other than to try to do my best to, make cool projects and things that are helpful and interesting to people. But other than that, I don't have much control over it, but I want to try to do what I can. Make cool projects. And I think these will be a cool one once I get them all done. I'm excited about them. I don't have a file right here. I was gonna skate the file, but we skated one yesterday, and it seemed like it hardened up pretty good. Paul says, nice. I'm working on a memorial guitar for my daughter. She lost her grandson at Thanksgiving. I have a neck made. I'm doing his footprints as dot markers on the fretboard. Oh, Paul, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to hear that. His footprints as dot markers, that is going to be super cool. What a great way to memorialize him. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's going to be really nice. And Brian's here. Brian says, Happy New Year, everyone. Hope 2024 brings you joy and excitement. Brian, Happy New Year. How are you doing? I was thinking about you. Was it last week or the week before? I think when you were in Iceland, and I heard about those volcanoes over there, and I was wondering if you were still over there or if everything was good. But I'm glad to hear that you're here with us and everything, I'm guessing, is good. Were you over there when those volcanoes were doing their volcano things? Neptune says, my condolences, Paul. Robert says, Paul, sorry to hear about your daughter losing her grandson. Yes, man. And Scott's here. Scott says, hello. Wow, made it here 2 weeks in a row. Right on, Scott. Cheers. My throat's a little scratchy for some reason. Let's see. Mike says, sorry to hear, Paul. Thoughts are with you and your family. Yes, they are. Mine as well, Paul. Paul says, oh, sorry, I lost her son, not grandson. Oh, so it would have been your grandson. Ah, man. Yeah, again, Paul, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Sam says, don't forget to hit the like button. It's free. It is free. Midlander NC says, hello. What's going on? Good morning. What's going on, Midlander? What are you working on? What's on your workbench? I feel like I'm covered in projects at the moment. It's weird how that goes. Brian says, the volcano erupted the night before we left. We drove right past it on the way to the airport. It was about half mile from the road. Awesome sight. We made it home safe though. Good. Yep, I was wondering about that. Yeah, I saw some video of it. My daughter and I looked that up when I heard about it, and it was pretty incredible, like the pictures and things. I mean, wow. Midlander says, working on a bat house. Cool. I would probably build one of those if I saw more bats. We don't have a lot of bats. I think I've seen some here, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of them. If I lived in a different area of the country, maybe back east, where I'm from, we had lots of bats, and you'd see them all the time. And I'd probably build a bat house. Brian says, thanks for thinking of me. Yeah. Just want everybody to be all right. Midlander says, thinking about a guitar build kit. Ooh, I think that's a good idea. You can never go wrong with that. There's never enough guitars. Never enough guitars. And Sam coming in with the super chat. Right on. Sam says, for some glowing radioactive US Mountain Dew. UK versions are made differently. Right on, Sam. Yeah, Mountain Dew used to be one of my favorite drinks. I used to drink it all the time. Now I'm going to have to go get one. Right on, Sam. Thank you so much. Awesome. I appreciate that. Definitely helps, Sam. Neptune's, you make a very good point. He says, you see no bats because you didn't make a house for them. I mean, you're not wrong. Maybe if I did make a bat house, I would see more bats. It's a very valid point. Oh boy. Robert says to Brian, glad you made it out of Iceland with no trouble. That's maybe a once in a life to see an erupting volcano for most people. Yes, I couldn't have, it's absolutely incredible. I don't know how many of you saw the pictures. I mean, I don't really follow the news, but I hear about things here and there, and once in a while I hear stuff like that. And I have to go look it up. Especially when I knew Brian was over there, and I hear Iceland's exploding. I hope everybody over there is okay though still. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but yeah, it's amazing to watch. Mother Nature's pretty incredible. Midlander says, just bought an Idlewild spruce top and a mahogany Oliver from Orangewood. Spruce and mahogany. It's a good mix. Are you going to build an acoustic? Or are you going to build like a solid body? Sam says a bat house will only attract Batman. Well, that's not bad either, I guess. Brian said, thanks to Robert. Right on. Midlander says bats in the garden is a good thing. Yes. Oh, bats are great to have around. Robert says, I watched some of the coverage of the eruption on YouTube videos. Yeah, that's what I saw, a couple videos. Like one was like a helicopter or something flying around, and yeah, it was pretty incredible. Midlander NC says guitar's acoustic. Yeah, I build an acoustic guitar. Right on. Right on. I don't know if you saw the latest, if I'd already showed this or not. This is the one that I'm working on right now. So we have awesome ambrosia maple, back and sides, Port Orford cedar top. We got rosewood bridge, rosewood fretboard, maple neck. And I'm in the process right now, trying to be very careful so I don't bang it into something, of radiusing the fretboard, and then I will begin installing the frets. This is the first acoustic I did this the same way, installed the frets after the neck was glued on, because it's not my favorite method, I just want to say. After doing it the first time, it felt very clunky to me, but I understand the process. I'm following along with the steps that Eric Schaefer outlines in his online guitar building course. I went through his course to learn how to, to learn a lot of the steps, and it was a huge resource, very helpful in learning everything. But what he says is, you can level the fretboard now before you put on the frets, which the idea sounds awesome, and it makes perfect sense. So everything's level now, then you don't have a lot of fret leveling to do because the fretboard is already level. The tricky part, and the reason that I'm doing this a second time, the tricky part is installing the frets while the neck is attached. It's tricky. But I'm not sure if it's tricky because of my lack of experience doing it that way. I've only done it once on the first acoustic. It felt a bit cumbersome, so I figured I want to do it a second time the same way and see if it maybe goes any smoother, or if it's really just the process that I just don't like, or it really is cumbersome. So stuff like that, like I got to try it a second time, maybe a third time, before I can really make what I feel is a solid determination as to if I want to do it this way. A lot of guys will install the frets before, which to me would be way easier. But again, I'm trying to fully understand the process, and then before I change how it's done. But anyway, that's where I'm at. A little bit more sanding to do here. Not a whole lot. It's getting mighty close. You can see I had chalk lines all down through. The chalk lines are all gone up until about here, so I've got just a little bit more to go here, and then work that fretboard extension down. So we're getting close to installing the frets, which I'm not super excited about at the moment. And maybe it'll go way smoother, and then if it does, then I can just say, well, the first time around was probably just due to my lack of experience doing it this way. We'll find out. Set that down. Brian says the volcano is just steam now, no visible lava anymore. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Midlander says, wow, that's spectacular. Is it a kit or all from stock? This is 100% all from stock. It is not a kit. I have a set of plans, and that's really all where it came from. Everything was flat and not dimensioned when I got it. I did the bending. I built a Charles Fox style side bender. That's a video I have back on the channel from last summer, late spring, last year. I built a side bender. You can check that out if you're looking at building one. But yeah, built everything was flat and oversized when I got it. So definitely not a kit. And some of the wood, well, some of the wood is wood that I milled myself even several years ago. So we have, as I dropped a bunch of dust on my coffee. So we have ambrosia maple sides. Thank you, Paul. We have an elm end wedge. The elm was from a tree in my yard. We have elm binding. Pretty much all the elm is on here. That's on here was from trees in my yard that had died several years ago. So we got elm end wedge, elm binding, elm rosette, elm heel cap. I'm really trying to be careful because I don't have a lot of room to swing this around. And an elm head plate. So that's all stuff that was a log at one point. And I milled it with my chainsaw mill, and it dried for a couple years, and now I've used it for a ton of other projects throughout the last couple years. Yeah, I've even got some now in an acoustic guitar. Sam says, there's an issue with the bridge. There's no captain on it. There is no captain on this bridge. Robert says, been looking at getting some plans for an acoustic parlor-sized guitar. I watched a guy's video of building one. I think he said it was for GGBO 21. Yeah, parlors are kind of cool. They're like really small. Midlander says, don't they use a jig for installing the frets, I believe? There's a bunch of different ways to do it. When I'm building an electric guitar neck, it's not attached to the body. I use a arbor press that's been modified. So, it's really easy. You just bump, 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 bump and press them in. And I would love to be able to do that here. But again, I'm following this different process to try to understand it. But I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I also have you know, this kind of F-style clamp fret press deal, and that's what I'll use probably for the majority of these frets. But what I found last time, the first time, was that it's almost easier to just tap them in and be done with it. So I might do that this time around, and that's what I ended up doing, especially over the fretboard extension, you know, where the clamp has to go into the sound hole and it's kind of awkward and clunky. It works, it totally works, but last time I just resorted to tapping them in, which is not my favorite method. I'd rather press them in, but yeah, I gotta get the process down a little more. Midlander says, is it a dreadnought? Looks like a grand concert. It is, and it's basically an OM. It's an OM body. So technically this one's an auditorium model. So basically a Martin 000, if I have that right, I believe. So a 000 and a 00, the bodies are about the same, if not exact. They could be exact. The only difference that I know of is the scale length. This is a 24.9 inch scale length for a 000. For a 00 or an OM, it's 25.4 scale length. So this is just a little bit shorter scale length, which is also the same as the one that I built a year ago. So technically it's like a 000 or an auditorium model as opposed to an OM, an orchestra model, and a 00. I had to do a bunch of research so that I could sort of understand that. But it's basically an OM style, it just has the 24.9 scale length. Albert says it was made from natural blue stained pine. Wait, did I miss? Oh no, the guitar. It was made from natural blue stained pine on back and sides, poplar and fir neck, and a hard maple for fretboard and bridge. Rather plain looking guitar, but sounded great. Nice. Heridude says, fretting an acoustic is painful. I had to improvise some calls for the upper frets. I used the clamp style with the Stumac radius calls in a modified F clamp. Yes, that's gonna be this guy. I bought this specifically for the last acoustic guitar, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it again and see. But it's kind of funny, if you go back and you watch the video on the first acoustic guitar where I was installing the frets, like that's all I was saying. It was just like, it's clunky and cumbersome, and I was getting frustrated with it, but we got it done. Midlander says, is it all solid or laminate sides and bottom? It's all solid. I didn't do any laminated sides or anything like that, so it's all, you know, just solid wood back, solid wood sides, solid wood top. Paul says, NP. No problem. Says, glad to see it finally made it into an acoustic. Brian says, have to run, everyone. Paul, good luck with the wonderful tribute, and good luck everyone with your projects. Stay safe and take care. Until next time, right on, Brian. Say hello to everyone over there from us here at Home Built Workshop. Right on. Oh, Paul's back. Paul says, I'm back. Had to change computers. Midlander says, what style bracing do you use? This is X-brace. It's just a ladder bracing on the back, and you know, your standard X-brace with the tone bars and everything on the top. You can go back. I've got videos of pretty much every step of this build on my YouTube channel, I think over the last 6 months or so. So if you scroll back on the channel, you can watch all of these where I'm, you know, preparing the plates and I'm getting the bracing installed, and you can see kind of the, you know, you can see the bracing pattern and stuff on there, if you're interested. Sam says, when the Elm guitar is complete, perhaps play it on Elm Street. Yeah, Elm Street. Midlander says, I will enjoy that. Right on. Thank you. Also, if you need a little bit more, I've got the very first acoustic guitar I built. I've got a whole series of videos on that as well. That was from 2022. So if you scroll back even farther, you can see all of those. I'm trying to document at least these first few. That way, I found myself even using those as a reference. I'll go back and watch some of the older videos and see, now how did I do that one step? Just so I can make sure I'm doing it right. But it's all there. Scroll back and check them out. Robert says, just not the last house on the left. Yeah, you remember those movies? I never got into those too much. But Midlander says, I used to watch more often, just getting back to you. Thank you for inspiring us. Well, thank you, Midlander. I appreciate that. Yep, and I plan to continue keeping up the making the videos. There you go. I don't know what I was going to say there. Sam says the UK's been receiving tornadoes from the US. Well, sorry, Sam. I didn't intend to send them to you. I really didn't want them to be over there, but I don't want them here, though. Thankfully, we don't really get too many of them around us. But yeah. I hope you don't get any of the bad ones. Robert says, me either, but know the references. Yeah. Yeah, that's about how I am. I think I may have watched like one or two. I don't know. What is there, like 45 of them now? So I want to show you, let me step out of frame here real quick and show you something else that I've been working on. This will be later, a project for later in the month. You guys get the inside scoop here for tuning into the lives. I'm sure all of you have one of these around somewhere, or many of you. Sharpening stone that's like totally worn out. So I'm working on like a restoration type video where I've seen a bunch of people, you know, that have been successful in flattening these out and basically restoring them. So that's what I'm going to do. But then you also see, you know, that people have these cool little cases, right? That the stones fit in to like store them. So I don't have, this one's not quite right yet, but I'm working on some files so that I can, once I flatten this out, then I'm going to make, this is the second one. This one I just cut yesterday. Fits much better, except it's a little too tall because the stone's going to be thinner when I'm done with it. I haven't even cleaned the edges up yet, but that's what I'm working on, kind of behind the scenes. But this will be an upcoming project because I want to see those little boxes. I don't know how they used to make them. You know, it seems like most of them I see are older, but I'm making them on the CNC, and it'll just hold the stone in there. Of course, it'll look a little nicer than this. Maybe we'll laser engrave something on here. I don't know yet, but yeah, that's something I'm working on. How many of you do have a sharpening stone that looks like this? I don't know how long I've had this one. This thing's been around a while, and you know, we're gonna see if we can breathe some new life into it. Right now, I don't really use this anymore because it's so dished out. But once I found that you can basically sand these flat, we're gonna give it a shot, and then we'll make a nice little case for it. Then I'm going to probably be looking for sharpening stones all over the place so that I can do a whole bunch of them. Sam says, people get hurt and others killed by trees falling rather than the actual tornadoes. Yes, it's all, you know, debris and stuff like that. That's like almost even more dangerous than the darn tornado. Robert says, even being here in Oklahoma for most of my life, I've only seen tornadoes in real life, not on TV. Only seen them once. And that day I saw maybe 6. Yeah, I've seen a few, not close by. One was, man, quite a few years ago, probably maybe 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago. I was playing, when my original band was playing, we were traveling back from, I don't know, Kansas, Missouri, something like that, but we were coming across I-70, basically just into the Colorado border, somewhere in that area, and there was one, you know, kind of way out in a field, and, you know, just a little funnel cloud. So that was kind of neat. It wasn't near any town or anything. And then the other one was, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. We saw 2 funnel clouds from right here at the house on the same day. And there was all these, you know, warnings and stuff like that. And we actually saw, I mean, they were probably, I don't know, 10 miles away. It's just a guess. But yeah, one was one direction, kind of north from us, and one was more east. And it was wild to be standing in your yard looking out at a funnel cloud. It's just, it's pretty crazy. Midlander says, this spring I'll be building a birdhouse for my webcam project to watch live bird nesting, and my Arduino ESP32 cam, DHT22 weather data logger have to build considering focal length. Wow, that sounds like a really cool project. I'm not familiar with what those cameras are. I'd have to look at it. But I've been thinking about getting one of those weather station things. I think that'd be kind of cool. You know, where it actually you know, measures the wind and all of that stuff. I think that'd be pretty awesome. If there was a way to DIY that would be even cooler, except some of that might end up a little over my head. I'm not familiar with, you know, programming an Arduino or anything like that, but I think it would be pretty awesome, and actually might be a good opportunity to learn. Build one with an Arduino, that'd be cool. Measures wind speed and all that stuff. Robert says, the big one I saw, I thought the tornado was like a 1/4 mile wide at the base, but it turned out it was really 3/4 of a mile wide. It was just further away. Wow. I don't know how big the ones were that we saw out here, but yeah, 3/4 of a mile, that's pretty big. I'm pretty sure that when we saw that one kind of on the Kansas border, I think that was before the one that went through, where was that? Was it Joplin, Missouri? Remember that big one that went up through there? I think it was just before that. I could be wrong, I don't remember. Midlander says, that's crazy. Yeah, it's wild. It's you know, growing up in the East, you know, you hear about this stuff a lot, and once in a great while you'll get a little something that kind of goes through and knocks a few trees down. But, you know, it's always this thing that you envision in your head, you know, when you're not exposed to that sort of weather for the most part. And then out here, to actually see one out in the field. I remember that first one that we saw was way out in this big field. And it was pretty amazing, really, just to be seeing one in real life. You know, when you've only seen them in, like, you know, movies and on the news and all that. It's pretty awesome, really. I mean, I don't like, not the destruction that they can cause, but, you know, seeing one, yeah, it's nuts. Sam says, UK homes are predominantly made from brick, stone, or concrete with some wood within the construction, but the thicker UK roof tiles are like missiles. Oh, I can imagine. It pulls those off. Woo! You gotta put on wear your hard hat. Midlander says, Davis Instruments, Arduino is fun. Yes, I don't have any experience with them, but I've seen some really cool things built with an Arduino, and maybe I should try to learn a little bit about that. I bet you we could make something kind of cool. Neptune says, I may have to do that birdhouse thing too. I have an extra ESP32 cam. Nice. Build one, Neptunes. We want to see it. Midlander says, Davis are good, but expensive. I'm going to look into them. I want to learn more about it. Robert says, thankfully there was little damage to property from the tornadoes that I've seen. Midlander says, yeah, here in North Carolina, in the Piedmont, by the time you hear one first and then see it, it's popped over the ridge coming through the trees, and then it's gone. Yeah, you know, I do remember as a kid, we had one. I grew up in northern Pennsylvania, and I do remember, you know, that one had touched down and was kind of zipping through the forest, the woods, and, you know, knocked a bunch of trees down, and you could kind of follow the path based on the trees. But, you know, I never saw it or anything, but yeah, I know what you mean. Neptune says, we have Davis at work, about $700 for both units, indoor and outdoor units. Woo, wow. Sam says, that's no workshop without a man cave attached. I mean, it works. Maybe the workshop is the cave. Robert says, they're interesting to watch, but don't want to experience one firsthand. I have helped clean up after a storm hit, and it's a mess. Yes, I never want, well, I don't want anyone to have to experience it firsthand. I mean, I know unfortunately that, you know, that happens, but yeah, it's one thing to see it out in a field, but, you know, when they get those bigger ones and they're ripping through towns and cities, and yeah, that's not cool. Then I don't want to see it, no matter how interesting it is. Pretty amazing stuff. So, cool. Yeah, so once I get this acoustic done, I'm going to jump back to guitars for a second. I'm trying to debate as to what to start on next for a guitar project. Ooh, that's the other thing I was going to bring up, speaking of guitar projects. The reason I'm pondering of what to build next is because we just got announced on New Year's Day, on the 1st, that the Colorado Guitar Show and the Luthiers Expo is going to be the end of March again this year, I think the 24th. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't entered yet, but registration just opened. I want to have something new to take up there. So I'm thinking, what do I want to build next? Because I think I'm going to attend again this year. It was such a fun thing being at last year. I had several friends up there, and just being able to, you know, hang out with so many other luthiers. I think I'll do it again this year, but I'm working on figuring out what I want to make. I have a body that I made like 2 years ago that really wouldn't take all that much to finish. I probably have to build a neck for it. I think I might do that just because the body's just sitting here and it's really nice mahogany and quilted maple. So I think I might throw that together. That way I have something new to take to the show. But I've been pondering that as well, trying to decide. We're going to do the bass guitar this year, finally. I know I've been saying that for a while, but that's one of my goals. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's one of my goals for the year to get that bass guitar built, at least the first iteration of it. Sam says, put eyes on the saws to make them into seesaws. Googly eyes on everything makes it cooler. Neptune says, I like lightning storms myself. Yes, lightning storms are pretty incredible. And we get some here. Our springtime here, gets kind of nuts once in a while. Sam says, do you make guitars to sell? Yes, I do, Sam. Yeah, I've got several of them for sale right now, but I need to build some more. Midlander says, we had many small twisters come through our neighborhood during Hugo. I don't know if you'd call them tornadoes now, but I guess they qualify because they're like mini tornadoes, whirlwinds. Whoops, forgot to quiet my phone there. Robert said, the biggest tornado I have heard about was one that hit in the Oklahoma City area on May 3rd a few years back. It was reported as an F5 with winds over 350 miles an hour. I can't even imagine that. Wow. Midlander says, I don't know why my tongue keeps getting tied up, but a semi-hollow maybe. That might be fun. Harry Dude says, build the subtonic. Yes, the subtonic is happening. It will happen this year. If it doesn't, then you all are invited here to yell at me. Midlander says like Chet Atkins played. Yeah, like a Gretsch style hollow body. Is that technically an arch top? I think maybe that's an arch top. Yeah. Yeah, the subtonic's going to happen. I've been saying for months and months that I've got the drawing pretty well done, and really now it's time to start sending that drawing to the machine and, you know, testing templates and shapes and stuff like that. That's another reason, really, that, you know, I'm doing stuff like this, where I'm, you know, using the CNC machine a little bit more, because I want to get that thing more, I want to get more familiar with it. I feel like I know it pretty well, but there's a lot of things that I haven't done on it. So, you know, just trying to use that machine more, let it do some more of the work, because that's what it's for. So, I'm going to be trying to work that into more projects. Not all of them, don't worry. Don't worry, it's not going to be, you know, CNC Project City, but, you know, I definitely do want to work that in some more, because I do want to make the bass guitar using that machine, and others eventually. We're building the subtonic this year. Put that in writing and like stick it up here so you can see it. Sam says 8 Celsius in the UK. 8, that's not bad. That's not bad. You're over 40 Fahrenheit. Not bad. Upper 40s. Midlander says, that's so odd that I didn't know you were a builder, and I just recently purchased these guitars after months of studying guitar building online to find out which one was best to buy. So I come across you today, and boom, it's all about guitars. It's kind of Twilight Zone. Do, 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 do. Yep, I mean, I like to build anything I can, really. You know, I have a bit of a focus on guitars and stuff like that, but really, it's like, I like to try to build whatever it is I can build, not limited to just guitars. Sometimes those other projects take away from guitar builds, but yeah, I like to build a guitar, you know, starting with a piece of wood and you end up with a playable instrument. It's awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad you came across us today. And, you know, we do these lives every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you ever want to stop in and hang out, we're here. Robert said, what is strange is there have been more than a few tornadoes since then that have followed almost the same path as the F5. One, unfortunately, one year hit a school. Oh, man. Yeah. And Sam bringing in the traffic light. Yeah, you mentioned that. It says perhaps a fully functioning traffic light on the wall. Yeah, we talked about that before. I don't have anywhere to put it. They're much bigger. At least the ones that I've seen are much bigger than you imagine. When you're sitting at the red light and you're looking up at the light, you know, it doesn't look, you know, all that big. But when you see it up close, it's pretty good size. At least the ones that I've seen. So I don't have anywhere to put it. I think it'd be cool. Maybe one day, we'll get into a bigger shop and, you know, we can do more stuff like that. Right now, I just don't have the space. Sam says, maybe learn some Amish furniture making techniques. Yeah, I mean, working with the Amish, that would be cool. There is a small Amish community near where I'm from. Hopefully this year we'll make it back there to my stomping grounds. And last time I was back there, I had an Amish family saw up some boards for me. The spalted maple that I used on the first acoustic guitar. I've got several boards of that here, and I've got quite a few of those boards up in the attic at my brother's house. Yeah, they were sawed up on a Amish family's sawmill. Robert said the traffic lights that I've seen are about 3.5 to 4 feet tall. Yes, that's the ones I've seen, like 3.5, you know, like kind of waist high kind of thing. And yeah, they're much bigger than you believe them to be when you see them hanging up there on the you know, at the stoplight. I was surprised to see how large they are. Yep, it's weird how, you know, you see these things all the time, the traffic lights. And, you know, you just kind of, I guess we just kind of internalize, you know, in our brains how big they are. And then you actually see one down and you're like, whoa, I had that way off. Paul says, I watched a video on the Amish moving a house. Nothing but a bunch of guys picking up the house and carrying it to the new location. Yes. I think I've seen, maybe not the same video, but I've seen some videos like that. Yeah, I mean, they're super industrious and they just get it done. Just get it done. And man, the baked goods, if you're ever in, you know, near an Amish community and you see like a, you know, a shop or a roadside stand or something, you got to stop and buy something. The baked goods are incredible. Jimmer says, waiting for you to buy an old shipping container to extend the shop. Yes, that would be cool. A shipping container. Maybe a couple of them. And then they could just get rid of this part and build the shop completely in shipping containers. Yeah, gotta do something. Gotta do something here before long, because this is getting, it's getting challenging. I'm not complaining though. Thankful for the shop that I have and, you know, the space that I have. Of course, we always want more, but I'm thankful for what I do have though. Paul says, a buddy of mine owns a van service that drives Amish around. His barn burned down, and in 2 days, they'd cleared the site and rebuilt a 2-story barn for him for free. Yeah, that sounds about right. Robert says, I've watched a video of Amish men picking up and moving a barn. It was impressive. And Midlander says, saw the same one. They just pick it up and walk it over. Yeah, I mean, my dad has a buddy who, one of his business, I don't know, maybe it's his main business, I don't know, but he moves houses. You know, he's got heavy equipment, you know, big, you know, hauling trucks and things like that, where they'll lift the house right up off the foundation and they'll load it onto his equipment, trailers, and however they do it, and they'll drive it up the road basically, and, you know, set it in its new space. Very similar to, you know, a bunch of guys just picking it up. But yeah, it's just incredible when you think about you can move an entire house. Sam said the UK traffic lights go from red and amber to green to single amber back to red. Really? So you have combinations. Interesting. Midlander says a street musician has a song that I like a lot. It's called Amish Whip. Jimmer says Mom B's baked goods the best. You got that right. You got that right. Yeah. No matter what they are. Sam says Americans put new meaning to moving homes. Yeah, yeah, we're moving today. Lift up the house and carry it off. Midlander says Davidas is his name. I'm gonna have to look him up. Right on. That's awesome. Well, guys, we have come about to the top of the hour here. So, any last minute questions, comments, suggestions? Let's get them in now, because we're gonna wrap this up here shortly, and I gotta go preheat the oven, put these things through some heat cycles. so we can get this done. It's been long enough. So get these things finished up. I gotta go get some 5-minute epoxy so that once it's done, I can glue the handles on there. I'm excited about how these are gonna turn out. Should be pretty cool. We shall see. And then, while that's, like I said, while that's cooking, I'm gonna work on this acoustic, get this fretboard radiused, and yeah, plenty of things. I feel like we're off to a good start to 2024, and I hope all of you are feeling the same way. It's, you know, it's a whole new year. We've got, you know, the sky's the limit as far as what we can do. We just gotta get out there and make it happen. So, you know, don't be afraid. Get out there, tackle those projects that maybe you've been wanting to do and you maybe been putting it off, and don't be afraid. Jump in and give it a try. Everything's an experiment. It's like I said with these. You know, I was talking to the farrier yesterday. He said, I've never seen anything like that. And I'm like, everything's an experiment. You got to try it and see how it's going to work. So let's get out there, make some cool stuff, learn some new skills. I hope you're all feeling excited and pumped up for the new year and what it can bring. I mean, we don't know what it's going to bring, but we're going to make it the best we can. So right on, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And like I say once in a while, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You know, as we try to push forward to hit that 100,000 mark. So need your help. If you're not subscribed, hit that button. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day or night or afternoon, whatever it is, and hanging out here at the shop. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream. Thanks, Neptune, for your time. Sam always says, be safe, everyone. Robert says, everyone have a great new year. Stay safe, healthy. Best of luck to everyone. Neptunes, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Helping out with the moderation duties. Not that we really need to do much moderation, but because everyone else is so awesome. So thanks to all of you for that. Jimmer says, go eat cookies. I might have to do that. Heritage says, cheers, folks. Stay well. Catch you all next week. Right on, everyone. With that, we're going to sign off here. I'm going to get to work because I got work to do. And Robert says to Jimmer, thumbs up. Yeah, go eat those cookies. Right on. Scott says, thanks. Here, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Stay well. Well, Midlander jumping in with the last minute. We're building a new 12x16 gambrel roof shop kit from 84 lumber material. Sitting stacked on the top of the driveway, waiting for the weather to break. Nice. That's going to be awesome. Right on. I got to build me one of those too one of these days. Someday. Some year. Yeah. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next time. Get on your shops, make some cool stuff. Have fun. We'll see you later. Oh, there it goes again. The button doesn't work better this year.